William Stone was a man who lived by the clock. As the heir to the Stone Hotel empire, his life was a series of high-stakes meetings, luxury cars, and expensive suits. But one Tuesday evening, fate decided to take him on a different path. While driving through the city's outskirts, lost in thoughts of a multi-million-dollar merger, he took a wrong turn. Within minutes, the bright city lights faded into the shadows of a narrow, industrial district. Before he could realize his mistake, two SUVs blocked his path. Three masked men forced him out of his luxury sedan at gunpoint. They took his phone, his gold watch, and his wallet containing thousands in cash and elite credit cards. They left him standing in the cold night, alone, with nothing but the clothes on his back. William stood there, his heart pounding against his ribs. For the first time in his 30 years of life, he was invisible. He had no identity, no money, and no way to call for help. He started walking, his designer shoes clicking on the dirty pavement. He reached a main avenue, hoping to hail a taxi, but every cab sped past him. To them, he looked like just another homeless man wandering the streets at night. Exhausted and shivering, he reached a bus stop. A battered blue bus pulled up, hissing as the doors opened. William stepped up to the driver. "Please," William said, his voice trembling slightly. "I've been robbed. I need to get downtown. I can pay you back tenfold tomorrow." The driver didn't even look at him. "No money, no ride. Buddy, move along." "Please, just this once," William pleaded. But the driver began to close the doors. "Wait!" A soft voice called out from the back of the bus. Julia, a young woman with tired eyes and a stained diner uniform, stood up. She walked to the front, digging into her pocket. She pulled out her last few coins, the money she had saved for a small loaf of bread on her way home. She handed them to the driver. "I'll pay for him," she said firmly. The driver grumbled, but took the coins. William boarded the bus. Stunned, he sat across from Julia, watching her through the corner of his eye. She looked exhausted, her hair messy from a long shift, yet there was a peace about her that he had never seen in his high society circles. "Why did you do that?" William asked softly as the bus rattled through the city. Julia looked out the window. "I know what it's like to be stranded. Sometimes, a few cents is the difference between hope and despair. Don't worry about it." When the bus reached a stop near a park, Julia stood up to leave. William followed her to the door. "I don't even know your name," he said. "It's Julia," she replied with a small, sad smile. "And don't worry, Mr. Stranger. The world is hard enough. We have to look out for each other." With that, she disappeared into the shadows of a modest neighborhood. The next morning, William was back in his penthouse, but the mahogany desk and silk sheets felt wrong. He couldn't stop thinking about the girl on the bus. He called his head of security. "James, I need you to find a girl named Julia. She wears a blue uniform with a Sunshine Diner logo. Find her, and find out everything about her life." By that afternoon, William had a file on his desk. Julia was 24. She worked 12-hour shifts to support her sick mother and pay off her late father's debts. She was studying business management at night, dreaming of opening a bakery, but her bank account was always near zero. William decided to visit the diner. When he walked in, the bell chimed. Julia was busy wiping down a table. When she saw him, she froze. He was dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans, this time trying to blend in. "You're the man from the bus," she said, her eyes widening. "Are you okay? Did you get home safe?" William smiled, touched by her genuine concern. "I did. Thanks to you. I'm William." Over the next 2 weeks, William became a regular at the Sunshine Diner. He sat at the counter every day, ordering coffee and watching Julia work. They talked for hours during her breaks. He told her he worked in the hotel business, which wasn't technically a lie. She told him about her recipes, her love for sourdough, and how she missed her father. "Why don't you just open the bakery?" William asked one afternoon. Julia laughed, a bitter sound. "William, look at me. I live paycheck to paycheck. A commercial oven costs more than I make in a year. Some dreams are just meant to be dreams." William looked her in the eyes. "I believe in you, Julia. You have the heart of a lion." Everything was perfect until Friday. Julia was in the break room when the news came on the TV. The headline read, "Billionaire heir William Stone safe after narrow escape from armed robbery." The screen showed a photo of William in a tailored suit, looking powerful and cold. Julia's heart sank. The man she had been sharing her secrets with, the man she had started to trust, was one of the wealthiest people in the country. He had been playing a part. To him, she was probably just a charity project. When William walked into the diner that evening, the atmosphere had changed. Julia didn't greet him with a smile. She threw a newspaper on the counter. "Is this you?" she asked, her voice shaking. William looked at the photo and sighed. "Julia, let me explain." "Explain what that?" "You've been lying to me for weeks, that you sat here pretending to be a regular guy while you have millions in the bank." "Were you laughing at me, William? Was the poor waitress a fun story for your rich friends?" "It wasn't like that," William said, reaching for her hand, but she pulled away. "I wanted someone to see me, Julia. Not the CEO, not the billionaire. Just William, and you were the only person who ever did that without knowing my net worth. Trust is earned with truth, William. Not with lies," Julia said, tears stinging her eyes. "Please leave." William left, but he didn't give up. He knew he had to prove his intentions were pure. For the next 3 days, Julia didn't see him. She tried to go back to her routine, but the diner felt empty. On Monday morning, a black car pulled up to Julia's small house. James, the man in the suit, handed her an envelope. "Mr. Stone would like you to join him for a final conversation." "Please." Julia was hesitant, but she wanted closure. She followed James to a beautiful, historic building in the heart of the city. It was an old brick shop with large glass windows. When she stepped inside, the smell of fresh yeast and flour hit her. The space was filled with top-of-the-line baking equipment. There were marble counters, a professional oven, and a sign above the door that read, "Julia's Grace Bakery." William was standing in the middle of the room, looking nervous. "I didn't do this to buy your forgiveness," he said quietly. "I did this because you told me the world is hard, and we have to look out for each other. You gave me your last coins when I was a stranger. Now, I'm giving you a beginning. You don't owe me anything. This is yours." Julia looked around the room, her breath catching in her throat. Her dream was right here, in front of her. She looked at William and saw the man from the busta, one who had been lost and needed a hand. "Why?" she whispered. "Because you reminded me that the most valuable thing in the world is the Ante Hotel Empire," William said, walking toward her. "It's the soul of the person holding the coins." Julia didn't run away this time. She realized that while he had lied about his name, his heart had been honest the whole time. She took a step toward him, and for the first time, they weren't a billionaire and a waitress. They were just two people who had found each other in the dark. A year later, Julia's Grace Bakery became the most famous spot in the city, and every morning, a certain billionaire would sit at the counter, not because he owned the place, but because he was proud to be the husband of the woman who once saved his life with 3 small coins. The lesson was clear to everyone who heard their story. Kindness is a currency that never devalues. And sometimes, the smallest seat on a bus can lead you to the greatest destination of your life.